If I hide the topic, will a person reading the question guess this was a topic from the questions? Empathy is less about accommodation and tolerance. It's more about acceptance and respect. Curiosity, what lies beyond? Let's go and see. Introspection-based learning. Okay, let's get started now. So we have done 2 classes on the essays. The first class was more about giving you a sense of what is the type of essays you must write. And the second class, I was focusing on the format. And we did some brainstorming on 2 topics. Okay. And this brainstorming, I'll continue and I'll teach you something new on that also. I'll take up some difficult topics today. Because essentially, the problem is, if you take up a topic which is abstract topic, and I'm focused on abstract because that's the bulk of the challenge you have. Abstract topics में आपके regular formulas काम नहीं करता है. The most common formula I've shared with all of you is, बहुत बच्चे बताते हैं, sir, let us write a historical perspective. Let us write in the pestle perspective. Pestle is political, economic, social, technological, ecological, legal aspects. इसमें follow करते हैं. Write about what happened in the past. ये formula इतना आसान से काम नहीं करेगा. Okay, because the topics are not exactly event-based topics. अगर आपका topic कोई event-based है, okay, या फिर कोई issue-based है, then this will apply. Issue-based globalization, poverty issues, issues like environment, issues like inequality or corruption. उसमें लगा सकते हो ये हिस्टोरिकली क्या था, इसका पॉलिटिकल इम्पैक्ट क्या है, इकोनॉमिक एस्पेक्ट क्या है, सोशल इम्पैक्ट क्या है. यू कैन डू दिस. बट द एब्स्ट्रैक्ट टॉपिक्स, लाइक आई सेड, जो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट टॉपिक्स होते हैं, द एब्स्ट्रैक्ट टॉपिक्स और द फिलोसॉफिकल टॉपिक्स, दीज आर मोर लाइक आइडियाज. ये आइडियाज हैं. आइडियाज को यू कांट स्लॉट देम इनटू दिस फॉर्मूला ऑफ पॉलिटिकल, इकोनॉमिक एंड सोशल एंड सो ऑन. That's why I gave a formula to you. I gave you a canvas. So I'm just recalling it for benefit of some who have missed it maybe. So I've suggested a canvas. The canvas has 8 boxes. There is 1 box in the front, 1 in the end. And then we have 2 enablers. Okay, this is my 12 box canvas. Okay, and इसको आप याद करो. आप इसको exam hall में, you can draw this at the end, last page. Okay, so the first box is, I said, this is the rephrase box. कोई भी topic मिलेगा, you try to rephrase it, keeping the meaning of the topic same, keeping the essence of the topic. You rephrase the topic. Then I said, give reasons. Give reasons. The why part of the essay. Give reasons. Then I said, identify some deep insight. Because the topics that you have, these are ideas. ये ideas से कुछ ना कुछ एक deep thought आता है. Okay, so that's insight. Then we said you could talk about what is the otherwise counter-intuitive idea. What is the otherwise पॉपुलर आइडिया. ओके, एक उल्टा आइडिया होता है, द काउंटर आइडिया एक है. ओके, आई विल एक्सप्लेन व्हाट आई मीन बाय दिस. एवरी आइडिया विल हैव अ काउंटर आइडिया टू इट. वो क्या आइडिया है? विल टॉक अबाउट द पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट्स. व्हाट प्रॉब्लम डज इट सॉल्व? देन व्हाट कुड बी द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस if not respected. The idea है, if the idea is not respected, if the idea is not adhered to, there could be some negative consequence. So these 2 boxes are about the impacts of that idea. Okay, any wisdom? Okay, then talk about the topic from the perspective of any one important event, any one important development. कोई एक उठा लो development world में, preferably a contemporary one. Okay, and tell us how that is around that idea. Discuss the topic from the perspective of any one important. तो पूरा आपके एक पेज जो है उसी issue को discuss करेगा through an event. Then we said you map it to some Indian perspective, some Indian relevance, bring an Indian dimension to it. And last is you map it to some values. और इसका हम बता देंगे चार्ट क्या हो सकता है. So these are those 8 boxes which force you to think in some ways. एक टॉपिक उठाना, उसको सोचना कैसे. So I call this technique as the technique of directed brainstorming. Okay, don't just brainstorm randomly. This is the indicative. अच्छा, इसमें एक बस याद रहे, in your actual essay, you may not have points for each of them. हो सकता है कि मुझे कोई idea strike ही नहीं कर रहा on values. Ignore it, no problem. It's possible I can't think of a counterintuitive idea. That's okay. I cannot think of a deep insight. That's okay. But if you can think of all 8, which I think is possible, it makes your essay a bit more diverse and rich. Otherwise, I'm sure एक आध छूटेगा तो कोई बात नहीं. Don't kill yourself on that. And this box, the 10th box, is the way forward box. The way forward box actually becomes something like your conclusion. Now that the idea is a good idea, the idea is a wisdom, the idea is a very important insight. अब हम उसका क्या कर सकते हैं? What can we do in terms of probably using it in our governance models, maybe helping society learn that idea, okay, maybe in schooling what we can do there, okay, the way forward with that idea. Now these 2 boxes I call as the nudge effect boxes. What I mean by nudge effect is, to elevate your essay, okay, because I maintain this, you will want to write an essay which should give you good marks, not regular average marks. आपका 110, 100, 115 से काम नहीं चलने वाला. You need to have 135, 140 plus. You need to elevate the essay. You must push the essay at a higher plane. वो कैसे push किया जाता है? You push it through some kind of deep discussions. Okay, and these deep discussions can be done. One of the ways you can do it at 3 levels. Talk at the level of personal issue, talk at the level of a society and nation, and talk at the level of the world. Her wisdom, every quote that you have, you can talk at 3 levels. You can talk at the level of the personalization, as a person, what it means, for individual, what it means, his thought, his ideas. You can talk at the level of society, the nation, society, and at the level of the world. Ye 3 levels of discussions. You can go deep discussions. And then I said, where possible, use art as a tool. When I see if examples can come from some poetry, if you know, example can come from some movie that you know, example can come from some book that you have read, example from maybe some personality that you know. Okay, bring in the element of art. Okay, art, paintings. कोई painting आप अगर याद है आपको, I'll try to enrich this also for you. Some painting that you know, you can refer to that painting. Or that painting has this idea or whatever. Okay, so your essay is now fairly diverse. So ये जो 3 है, these 2 things, ये जो 2 चीज है, that you talk at a deeper level, and this art wala form, what I call is nudge effect. This you can use anywhere. You can use it here, you can use it here, you can use it here. Okay, you need not use in every discussions. Maybe the insights to insight wala part है, यहाँ पर आप ये कर सकते हो. Okay, insights at a personal level, insights at a social level, insights at a global level. Okay, while telling us, okay, maybe say what type of event you're talking about, this can use some art form maybe. While discussing what problems you can solve, you can again use some art form for examples. You can refer to the movie that you have seen. उस movie में ऐसे हुआ था, and that's how the problem was solved. This is what I call as our essay writing canvas. The last time I took up 2 topics and I put on this format. Today I'll do the same thing. I'll take up 2 more topics. This time I'll take up a tricky one and then build the essay on this. Is it okay, all of you here? Okay, just catching up with some of you who may have missed the initial discussions. Now, let me take up this topic. Last week a topic hai. The topic is, a smile is a chosen vehicle for all ambiguities. This was the topic last year, section B में topic number 7 था. So many of them got trapped on this one. So let's start by using all the elements of our canvas. We'll use this one by one. हम बोलते रहेंगे, आप लिखते रहना. Okay, then you will see how you can pick up. The first is rephrase this. Okay, और rephrase का एक rule ये है, you will not use the words of the topic directly. You will not use the same word. इसमें important words क्या हैं? Smile is an important word, or vehicle could be an important word, or ambiguities can be important. ये 3 word हैं, but the 2 more critical words are these 2. Okay, smile and ambiguities. इसके पहले first step है, you must know what the topic means. And to be very honest with all of you, what a topic means, it's actually your understanding and reading abilities. I can explain topics I discuss here. Exam mein every possibility you'll get a topic, which is not what we have practiced. The only way to counter this is you think more and more and more topics. Jitne zyada topics aap sochenge, your width will be better. Anyway, let's start off now. So what does the word ambiguity mean? Basically means something which I don't want to commit to. Okay, I want to keep it gray areas. I don't want to declare my stand. Like ambiguous. Ambiguous is what? Something which is confusing, something which is not exact, something which I am okay not committing myself to. Somebody asks me, okay, movie chaloge kya? I don't want to commit myself. So I'm देखते हैं, होगा चल जाएंगे. I can't say right now. That's being ambiguous. So ambiguity is that, deliberate confusion. I don't want to commit. I don't declare my position. And a smile is a chosen vehicle का मतलब क्या है? That if I want to ride an ambiguity, अगर कोई ambiguity को मुझे सहारा लेना है मुझे, I must take the support of some ambiguity. Somebody has asked me, यार examination कल है ठीक है, but let's go for a small movie today, or let's go for a small party today. Now मुझे पता है कल examination है, I don't want to go. At the same time, he's a good friend of mine. अब उसको मैं क्या ही बोलूं? So I want to keep it ambiguous. यार देख लेंगे यार शाम को we'll have a talk. Or I can't decide right now. Give me some time to talk. Essentially, I made up my mind. मुझे जाना नहीं है शायद. But I can't tell him as obviously. Okay, मैं हाँ भी नहीं बोलना चाह रहा हूँ, नहीं भी नहीं बोलना चाह रहा हूँ. To maintain that state of non-commitment, he says the vehicle is smile. मुस्कुरा के बोले मूवी चलोगे क्या? And I gave him a smile. Okay, देखते हैं, ठीक है, fine, let's see. Okay, this is very common in relationships. You want to commit yourself to a person, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, and you want to keep it gray. जब भी वो बात आएगी, I give a smile, a strange, ambiguous smile, and that keeps my ambiguity running. Because देखो, if I'm ambiguous, essentially, I don't want to commit. How can I do it? One way of doing it is, I'll turn the face. यार मुझे नहीं करना जाओ. If I do that, maybe I might lose something. If I say yes because I'm under pressure, then maybe I can't ultimately deliver on it. So sometimes it's nice to be ambiguous. And our relationship with US is very ambiguous. कभी दोस्त हैं, कभी नहीं भी हैं. Sometimes we are supporting them, sometimes we go anti them. But whenever we meet in summits, lot of talk, handshake, गले मिल जा रहे हैं. We are deliberately keeping it okay. We are friends, but let's see. So ambiguities is a very important part of our relationships. It's a very important part of maintaining our sanity. It's a very important part of ensuring that we don't get into pressure every time. Okay. So how do we manage it? The topic says that a smile is a chosen vehicle. अगर आपको ambiguous रहना है, keep smiling. Okay. You can always avoid confrontation if you smile. You can always avoid unpleasantness अगर आप smile कर देते हैं. So ambiguity को अगर run करना है, you must run the ambiguity. If you must run that confusion and sustain with it, the best is don't argue, smile. The best is don't fight, smile. The best is don't escape, smile. और अपने आप, let's see how things happen. Okay, I have my family, my father, whenever he doesn't want to commit to something, or he knows that he has done something that maybe I will not like. Okay, when we ask him, Papa, ऐसे क्यों हुआ, वैसे क्यों हुआ? Okay, he has a very standard statement. He'll smile and say, क्या करें? Okay, क्या करें? क्या करें में I know कि Papa has escaped. So he will do things he wants to do. Okay, he will exactly in the positions that we don't want him to. But we ask him, क्या करें? He is a patient with some ailment. He can't eat certain type of foods. Okay, but he's an old man now. He can't give up temptation. कभी ये खा लिया, कभी मीठा खा लिया. पापा ऐसे क्यों कर रहे हो? क्या करें? I know it's a killer. He is an old man. He can't walk as much. But मन करता होगा घूमने जाना है, यहाँ जाना है. Okay, he wants to go. So early morning he'll wake up. घर से बाहर जाके चले जाएंगे in the garden. Okay, or he'll open the gate and walk on the street sometimes for 15-20 meters. We wake up, we upset, कहाँ चले गए? पापा गिर जाएंगे, etc. You catch him. क्या करें? तो क्या करें? यहाँ पर is a smile. I hope you got the topic now. So ये जो understanding है ना बेटा, इसका कोई formula नहीं है. You have to think on the topics. Simple thing. What does the topic mean? That's the first one. So I'll rephrase it, and rephrasing, remember, keep it very simple. You don't have to go bombastic on big words. Ekdam simple mein. A smile is the chosen vehicle for all ambiguities. Okay, so I'm rephrasing it. If one does not want to commit or declare his or her position, then rather than getting agitated, it is better that one maintains pleasant front without frowning or without showing disagreement of any sort, obviously. Okay, I am not using the words of the topic. अब मुझे झगड़ा प्रॉब्लम ये है कि my fight is the word smile. मैं smile का क्या लिखूं? तो smile के लिए मैंने क्या लिखा? That I will maintain a pleasant front. I will not frown. I will not show disagreement, okay, of anything, obviously. Ambiguity is if one does not want to commit something, if one does not want to declare something, rather than getting agitated, not agitated is a type of a smile. Is it okay, all of you here? Likho is that sentence here. So you have to use some alternate words. Likho up, write down this one. If one does not want to commit or declare his or her position, then rather than getting agitated, it is better that one maintains a pleasant front. Okay, आपके words में one maintains a positive expression, fine, without frowning or without showing disagreement of any sort, obviously. तो अंदर में गुस्सा हो, ठीक है, बाहर कम से कम obvious मत बनाओ अपना गुस्सा. बाहर you are agitated, but चेहरे पे मत लेके आओ. Is it okay, all of you here? This is my rephrase. I just want the topic to be rephrased, that's all. And rephrase it without any complicated word. Okay. Using simple words. I gave a mantra last time. I said, okay, assume that the reader is stupid. इसको बड़े-बड़े ज्ञान दोगे, okay, he will understand it. Keep it simple. Assume that the reader is lazy. Don't write too much. He will not read. Don't write without telling him what to read. So underline wherever required. Okay. And so assume that the reader is mean. Okay. ऐसा कुछ मत लिखो जो लगता है it can hurt somebody. Okay. He will penalize you for that. So keep your essay simple. Keep your essay obvious, and keep the essay away from any controversial issues. Okay. So this is the topic. All done here? I have rephrased it. Next, I said give reasons. Number one is it helps us solve problems elegantly. It helps us not fight. It helps us buy some time. Abhi batao. I said no. Let's wait for some time. I smile and I buy some time. Yeah, dekh lenge aage yaar. So it gives us some time to solve issues. Like it helps us through the solutions rather than commit and make an error. It helps us maintain friends. It helps us maintain relationships. Otherwise, I lose a friend, I lose a relationship. Okay, बड़ा common है relationships में. Okay, if you say something which the other person doesn't want to hear, okay, you might lose a friend. So you smile and buy time. It helps us by peace of mind. So yes, right. Somewhere, okay, it keeps you calm. It helps us by peace of mind. वही बड़ा word हो जाता है. Maintaining balance is balance, right? The balance between what? Your friends, balance between emotions, balance in relationships. Same idea, so you're not wrong. But I'm just saying, keep it simple. Don't keep any idea vague here. और क्या बताओ? What does a smiling help you do? If you smile your way through, you can actually find solutions eventually, because you are responding and you are not reacting. Give me a list of reasons. So essentially, that your approach is that, okay, you are sensitive. Dekho, why do I smile? Because somewhere I am a sensitive man. I respect somebody may disagree with me. उसका मन क्यों दुखाया जाए? So rather than hurting him, I said, okay, ठीक है, आप भी सही हो, ठीक है. I don't agree with you. At the same time, I'm sensitive to what you think. This is the element of empathy होता है इसमें. Is it okay, all of you? Now, ये reasons में, okay, आप एक काम करो. Pick up the 2-3 most important reasons you think of. Whatever you think. Give me 1 or 2 of these. The first I wrote was that it helps us solve problems elegantly. Matlab, like fighting, groveling, arguing, abusing. It's so unfortunate. उसको हम avoid कर देते हैं. We are elegant. We are maintaining our poise. We maintain our dignity. Like elegantly, we maintain our dignity. We are maintaining our position without compromising some element of decency. Okay, we are maintaining our decency. I said we don't end up fighting. It's so unfortunate. We fight. Okay, we buy some time. मुस्कुरा के तो time मिल जाता है. Give me some more time to think on it. We buy some time. What we are doing is that we are trying to think through a solution rather than commit and make a mistake. Okay, because we just something in a hurry. Okay, so we are solution oriented there probably. We maintain. Okay, we maintain our friends. We maintain our relationships. We don't lose them. We buy peace of mind. अब इसमें बताओ, which do you think are the 2-3 more important ones? Your choice. Give me a number. Solutions. Which was number 7. Okay, you think 7 is more important. और एक बताओ, peace of mind. Okay, which is what? 6. Okay, fine. Somebody else? First and fifth one. Respond and not react. Okay, this was which one? 7th one. 7th, some say, is more important. That's so fine. Somebody says 2 and 3. Now listen what I'm doing here. ये जो 3 heads हैं, there's 3 heads. Okay. Reason why, impact which is positive, and consequences if not done. ये तीनों में overlap होगा. So this list I have, I'm trying to find, okay, कि इसमें से कौन सा डालूं in the first 2 reasons, which 2 I'll keep it for the positive impact, and which 2 I'll keep for the negative impact. I hope you got the point here. Rather than pumping all reasons at one place, ये लो 7 reason. उसमें क्या है ना, उसमें ideas develop नहीं होती हैं. It's something like, बेटा झूठ मत बोलो, don't lie. Okay, there is lot of challenges. You'll need friends. You will want to do new things. You want lot of courage from within. It's always better to be honest, so don't lie. And these days, when we look at the problems around us, we need to have friends. If we do not have friends, we'll never develop our skills. But to develop friends, बहुत important है that people must trust us. So because you must make them trust you, so don't lie. मैं don't lie 3 बार कहा मैंने. Okay, but if don't lie को मैंने क्या किया? बीच बीच में कहानी बना के बोला. If I just keep saying, don't lie, don't lie, don't lie, it will not be as impactful. Don't lie, some story. Therefore, don't lie, some story. Therefore, don't lie, some story. What I'm doing here? So, in your essay, हम वही करना चाह रहे हैं. ये मेरे पास 8 reasons हैं. But if I pump the reason just like that, okay, it's like that you have essay खत्म कर दिया आपने. Essay is essentially a type of persuasive write-up. आपके यूपीएससी में एक आइडिया है, यू आर परसुएडिंग समबडी, है ना. बच्चे को खाना खिलाया जा रहा है, बेटा खाना खा ले, नहीं खाया, अच्छा वो देखो चिड़िया है, वो देखो ये है, ये है, ये है, अच्छा बेटा खाना खा ले. आई एम परसुएडिंग, राइट. इन परसुएशन इट्स ऑलवेज नाइस टू स्प्रेड योर आइडियाज, ओके, एंड नॉट साउंड रिपीटेटिव. इज इट ओके ऑल ऑफ यू? आप देखो ना, दैट विल फाइंड अ सॉल्यूशन बाय रिस्पॉन्डिंग, नॉट रिएक्टिंग. We'll solve a problem with dignity and elegance. Overlap होगा ना इसमें. So I'm saying इसको पहले बोल दो, say something, but then again come back on this. That way what happens is you distribute the ideas in the entire essay. The essay does not look like a list of points alone you're pumping. So of these 7-8 points you have, आप उठा लो, यार ये 2 या 3 मैं reasons में लिखूंगा. These 2 or 3 I'll write as part of positive impact. And I will say the opposite thing. Okay, like say, this one here. If we don't smile in ambiguities, it will impact us very negatively because it will make us irritable. If we don't smile in ambiguities, every possibility we will have lot of agitation because always a fear that we might be losing friends. Okay, and it keeps us occupied and thinking and overthinking on it. Therefore, okay, smiling in ambiguities gives us peace of mind. कहना वो peace of mind से है, लेकिन I'm talking about it from the other side. It's like study hard and you will pass. उल्टा बोलो, if you don't study hard, you will fail. If you don't work hard enough, you won't qualify. Therefore, study hard to pass. So these 3 points, these 3 box में ना, okay, idea same है. Reasons why they impact positive and they impact negative. These 3 will have overlaps, but I want essay to get distributed. Is it okay, all of you here? You have taken up a topic, you have thought what the topic means. Once you are sure about that, acha pehle rephrase karo. Say the same topic in another set of words. Then add the word why. Smile is the best vehicle for ambiguities. Why? Because it helps us maintain dignity. It helps us maintain decency. It helps us maintain relationships. It helps us with our peace of mind. It helps us, I guess, find time to solve solution. Liख दिया अपने point. Now you're picking and choosing. ये दो जो है, I'll write first. I'll discuss something else. Then I'll give another set of examples here, something and so on. So your choice, and it's entirely your prerogative. इसमें कोई rule नहीं है. आपका पूरा अपना thinking है. What you want to preserve for what? Is it okay all of you here? और जैसे जैसे आपका, अच्छा इसका एक और advantage है. देखो, many times you'll realize कि ऐसे लिखते वक्त ना, you'll get new ideas. So I don't want to exhaust all the points in the first paragraph itself. So I'll have the list rough में लिखेंगे हम, और हम लिख रहे हैं ऐसे, लिख रहे हैं, I have reasons, and then I write, and then it's अच्छा एक और the point है हमने add कर लिया, वो एक और point, if I can't find it fitting here, I can fit it here now. It gives us flexibility to keep thinking and developing my essays. All fine, all of you here? So you have a list of why. Now this is, I think, a tricky box deep inside. It's tricky box because you must really have something very interesting to say here. अगर नहीं है, कोई बात नहीं, doesn't matter. But अगर है, it elevates your essay. Remember that. आपके essay का level जो है ना बढ़ जाता है. So in this topic, can you tell me first, what do you think is a very nice insight? आप बताओ. Insight का मतलब क्या होता है? Deep idea, which is very profound. Okay, it tells you something in terms of wisdom. That it's always wise to stay composed and positive irrespective of what situation you are in. That's my insight. One insight for me is, while we want to live our life in a very well-defined and a very planned way, where everything is well thought of and well accounted for, the reality is life is full of ambiguities. As a person, एक desire तो है कि सब कुछ should be exact. So exactly बता दो सर क्या बुक पढ़ना है, क्या क्वेश्चन आएगा, क्या नहीं आएगा, exactly बता दीजिए सर, how many hours to study. I think as human mind, we look for definiteness. As a human mind, I always want to look for something that's concrete, okay, and well defined. I want sharp boundaries in life. सब बता दो सर यहाँ पर झूठ बोलने कि नहीं बोले. Okay, I make a rule कि कभी झूठ नहीं बोलना है. That makes my life easier. But reality में life does not give us that type of fixed rules. Life is full of ambiguities, confusions, gray areas. Life is full about, okay, that uncertainties. So my insight is that if I really want to live my life and be successful, I can't be taking stress in ambiguities. It's always nice to smile my way through. So for me, the insight is smiling is the mantra of life to deal with life challenges and life ambiguities. Is it okay, all of you here? इसको हम rephrase कर देंगे in a short sentence. ठीक है? So I partake in all of you. So I want one such deep idea. देखो ये deep ideas कैसे आते हैं, ये सोच के ही आएगा. See, in the essays writing, the thinking part का technique सिखा सकते हैं आपको, but the actual thinking is your work. So how to think on some issues, आपका reading has to be wider. Your reading has to go beyond some regular type of articles, okay, and that will develop in time, okay. But the what to think I can't tell you. How to think is what I'm focusing on. Is it okay, all of you here? So you take up a topic, first rephrase it. Second, make a list of, okay, what are the reasons why you think so. उसमें से कुछ बचा लो for the future discussions. 2 or 3 discuss earlier, 2 or 3 discuss later. Give me a deep insight, what you learn or understand from that. So my 3-4 boxes are done. In my canvas में मेरा ये box हो गया, ये box हो गया, a fair idea about this and this, which I can keep on developing in time also. Now come here, the counter idea here. Now देखो, smile is the best vehicle for ambiguity. ये मेरा realization अभी हुआ. But in general, what do we advise people? In general, if I recall my suggestions I have given or I have taken, keep it straightforward, right? आप जो अंदर हैं वही बाहर रहो. Be authentic is one of the suggestions we give. Say upfront. Okay, जो कहना चाहते हो कह दो यार. अंदर दबा के मत रखो, ये बोलते हैं हम लोग. Don't keep people hanging. Okay, let them know, good or bad. बता दो. Somebody asks you, okay, let's go for a movie. Don't keep him hanging. I say yes or no and be done with it. It's the exactly opposite idea, right? आप इसके बारे में लिखें फिर. In reality, however, we are taught 1, 2, 3, 4 points, and then tell us what are the problems of that. So you are taking up a wisdom, and I have found this. मैंने ये काम हर टॉपिक में किया है. In every topic I have found, एक counter idea भी है, which also is a wisdom. Be straightforward, okay, be transparent, be clear in terms of your commitments, don't keep people hanging, okay, and don't leave it in the gray zone. Take decisions even if it is unpleasant one. ठीक है, अच्छी बात है, but in doing so it's possible that we might harm more sometimes. हमारा wisdom कहता है don't lie, be honest. But many times if we say the truth the way it is supposed to be, I actually might harm. A small boy who does not know the difference between an imaginary and a real world, he believes in fairies and dreams. उसका आपने पूरा मैजिक खत्म करके बता दिया कि नहीं ये तो ये चीज है. You probably have compromised his thinking. So हर idea का एक counter idea होगा which is equally powerful. I'll say right about that. And then say कि maybe smiling through ambiguity is a better idea rather than declaring whatever you have in your mind as obviously. So my टॉपिक ऑफ डिस्कशन इज कि यहां पर क्या आइडिया होगा. यहां पर आइडिया ये है that many a times in life we are taught to do this. We are said this is better. We are said don't be ambiguous. We are said to be straightforward. While it is okay, but many a times we realize that ambiguity is actually more common than exactness. अब वहां पर उसको कहना है जो कहा हुआ. This was a quote actually. Let's be more kind than be right. It's a quote, right? Some I said that. Use that. I'm not saying no. But what's the idea? Is it okay all of you here? Sometimes अगर आपके स्टाइल में ह्यूमर और सरकाजम नेचुरल है, you can use it. But it requires lot of smart writing to write on these issues. Otherwise, your essays can become very non-serious types. So counter idea is essentially to establish your own idea. The counter idea is कि देखो ये भी कहा जाता है, that's okay, but I think this also works better. Don't ignore this one. And you're on in your topic again. So I think I have done 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 boxes now. अब इस पे आओ. Think of any one important event or any one important issue and how that wisdom can be very important solution. India's foreign policy. रशिया में क्या करना है, यूक्रेन में क्या करना है, what will our stance be? Okay, vis-a-vis South China Sea maybe. What will our stance be? Okay, vis-a-vis the conflicts of China maybe. So diplomacy se uthao points and a good one page on that. And how we keep smiling. In fact, if you look at the recent opposition meet, all those leaders, they can agree, they can't agree, but they're always smiling. केजरीवाल इधर हैं या उधर हैं, राहुल गांधी सपोर्ट करेंगे या नहीं करेंगे. I remember there was this पार्लियामेंट में इवेंट हुआ था. इवेंट क्या, it was a instance where Sushma Swaraj said something to Manmohan Singh. Okay, अपने कविता में बोल गई and Manmohan Singh replied back smilingly. Okay, एक और कविता में बताया. If you have heard that, good enough. That's a good example of how to maintain the diplomacy while you are smiling. When people ask Dhoni, will he retire or not? In fact, I think this is a common path when people are talking about relationships. Bollywood में जिससे पूछा आपका अफेयर है नहीं है, मुस्कुरा देगा, we are good friends. अब उसको लिखो, pick up any examples you want to pick up. Okay, so something which is diverse, interesting, तो सोचना पड़ेगा. Agreed. Okay, should Dhoni retire or not from IPL? Is it okay what I mean by example? देखो, I can't give all examples, so at least you have a point to think on. Can I think of an event or a major issue where we have to smile our way through? Now, India wale mein, I would have kept the diplomacy here. I'll keep my diplomacy here. Achha, now, from this topic, what's the value you learn? Every abstract topics का ना किसी value से mapping कर लोगे आप. What's the value? Value, I am assuming that you understand what values are. Ethics का paper हो जाएगा. You have to be empathetic. Patience is a value. Sometimes more than personal, the bigger issues are also as important. हमेशा मुंह पे कह देना is not always wise. Smile your way through. It is about emotional intelligence. So give me 1 or 2 values and write about it. That smiling through ambiguities is a very important value around. Now say something on that. A very good value around tolerance, empathy, around patience, around the larger goods, about respect, about dignity, whatever you want. उठाओ एक दो लिख डालो उस पे. So every abstract topic can be mapped to some value. और उसका heading भी वैसे लिखना. Smiling through ambiguities is a value system around tolerance and patience and empathy. और लिखो उसके साथ में. You map with the values. Now way forward. Way forward is now that ये हमने कर लिया established कि smiling through ambiguities is always the best way ahead. So now what? Now what is? We must teach children the fact that life is not always black and white. Our education system must teach children how to deal with what is volatile, what is ambiguous, and the importance of patience, the importance of maintaining a good humor in times of ambiguity. हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम में we must have education on emotional intelligence also. You are giving a suggestion way forward. You can add this as a part of governance also, that our police has to be sensitive. Administration must be sensitive. There are many times when they don't have solutions, but because of that, they must not be rude. They can always smile in times of ambiguities. They can't have the liberty of pushing people out and dismissing them. Smile through the ambiguities. The administration mein, governance mein, okay, you have to have empathetic dealing. Is it okay, all of you here? It's something like, think of, you go to a hospital and God forbid, you have a terminal problem, okay, where you might not survive. अब डॉक्टर आपको बोल नहीं पा रहा है कि whether you live or not live. Okay, he wants to keep it ambiguous. He can smile his way through. So this is a very important virtue in our conduct. Let's teach children, people, administration, the virtues of smiling and maintaining good conduct. It's your way forward. Is it okay, all of you here? Now, can you think of ये discussion में किसी एक में personal level, social level, and world level? So I think I could think in terms of insights. Insight में, like at a personal level, if you are smiling through ambiguities, it'll give you strength. At the social level, it helps us avoid conflicts. At the global level, we learn to collaborate and cooperate. So I could use this tool. Okay, ये इसमें यहाँ पर लिख सकते हैं, पूरा आराम से 2 पेज बनेगा यहाँ पर. Or maybe take this towards counterintuitive idea. At a personal level, how while we are taught to be straightforward and open and transparent, it's not always wise. At the social level, it's not wise that always आप अपना stands clear कर दें, because social groups हैं, conflicts हो जाएंगी यहाँ पर. So take this 3-level thing and you can apply wherever you want to apply. That's your choice. ठीक है, all of you here? ये एक tool है. It's one tool to elaborate something at a personal level, at a social level, at a global level. Say, what can India's stance be to phase out coal or phase down coal? Global level issue हो गया ये वाला. Smile way through. देखते हैं what we can do right now. We have problems of democracy, development, poverty, energy issues. In global forums, we can smile our way through while we find solutions. Keep it ambiguous there. Balancing all stakeholders. Very nice. Achha, can you think of some art form? Can you think of some movies or some books if you have read? Mona Lisa's smile is ambiguous. You do not know she is smiling or not smiling or frowning. Okay, some people say that Mona Lisa does to you what you do to her. If you're frowning at her face, she frowns back. There's an ambiguity in that painting smile. The movie Anand of Rajesh Khanna, very nice. He's dying, terminal case. और जब भी पूछा गया, what's wrong, what's, he'll always smile his way through. पूरे movie is smiling his way through the problems. In fact, one of his friends and his sister asks him, okay, about भैया क्या है नहीं, he smiles and dismisses it. Gandhi ji was a master of ambiguities. Okay, Gandhi ji का पूरा diplomacy was smiling. You'll never see him angry or agitated any time. Smiling, talking, meditation. जब मूड नहीं किया बात करने का, I'm going into meditation. My mother does that. जब गुस्सा है, नहीं बात करना है, okay, मम्मी एक मिनट रुको. I mean, let me say my prayers and come back. So now we know her technique. Okay, fine, all of you. That's your choice. I know of one movie of Nasruddin Shah, Ijazat. Okay, it's about relationships. He's an unhappy man, alone man, but पूरे movie में smiling. Smiling at himself, smiling at the situation that he is in. So I can describe that ambiguity, and he's smiling. So that's your essay. It's my suggestion to all of you. Your reading width must change. ठीक है, Hindu is nice, to express nice, but beyond that, a lot of readings which you can initiate into. Most of these topics are there in your Sunday newspapers. And I, for one, I do Times of India very regularly. I keep track of 4 newspapers: Hindu, Express, Times of India, and Live Mint. In Times of India, the width of writing style बहुत ज़्यादा है. Issues ठीक है, So, and in terms of India, two writers, I never missed an article. One is Bachi Karkaria and one is Jag Suraya. This lady, she writes, and they have this humorous satire style of writing, this lady, Bachi Karkaria. And in this, she is writing about the importance of urban development, which should have open space, green spaces, community spaces, and not simply tall buildings. यहाँ पे एक reference है, देखो, we too have open spaces, but they are more people to people than people to people. Rather than trees, people tree, we are more of people here. Okay, her way of satire, humor. There are more germ-laden pollution than butterfly-carried pollen. So the old beneficial hawa khana now means swallowing airborne ailments. This is an Hindi word, right? Hawa khana. तो उसने लिखा है इंग्लिश में commas डाल के. She says hawa khana is more like now, okay, airborne ailments. Then there is a civic beautification, an oxymoron. Okay, fine. I don't want to show कि ऐसे भी लिखा जाता है. You can use an Hindi idea in English script, but you must quickly translate that. Okay, इसमें यहाँ पे आगे भी है. To mark the mark of a great city, methinks is a very informal way of writing, is not a concrete clutter of spears stabbing the sky to death. Spears stabbing is what? The buildings, right? So modernity is not tall buildings into the sky. Methinks of a great city is not the concrete clutter of spears stabbing the sky to death. The number of open spaces, like the vital unheard pauses of great music. In music, there are some moments where there is silence. So music में वो भी important part है. This unheard is not an English word. So यहाँ पर written as italics and commas के अंदर. तो आप भी use कर सकते हो. You can write in Hindi phrase in a comma, underline it, and within bracket experiment. So इसमें बता दिया unheard is what? The unheard silence pauses of great music. Is it okay, all of you? So I'll encourage कि आप लोग ऐसे articles भी पढ़ें. Okay, because see, when you are reading your newspapers, most of us are reading to mine information. तो ये पूरे write-up का एक ही important point है, that the cities must have open space. That's all. But the way she writes it, with humor, with satire, with examples, and the examples are running right through. ऐसा नहीं है कि example ही लिखा हुआ है. Write-ups, example, write-ups, example, write-ups, example. So focus on the writing styles also, rather than mining information alone. आपको एक और बड़ा interesting, and ये सब use कर सकते हो, these writers, you can use their sentences also. तो वैसे ही another writer is, okay, Jag Suraya. Okay, if you can read him. Now, Jag Suraya says, Eternal India. इसको आप use कर सकते हो essays में. When viewed from afar, the ever-changing changelessness of the country is very reassuring. In fact, ये पूरा ऐसे पढ़ के लगेगा कि पता नहीं इंडिया के फॉरेन बोला कि अगेंस्ट में समझ में नहीं आएगा आपको. He's saying, when I'm abroad, what I love about India is that it does not change much. It's very reassuring कि वापस जाऊंगा ना, मुझे वही जगह मिल जाएगा. Outside things change, morph, I lose myself. I go back to India, the things remain the same. और remain same में he gives all those nasty instances. वही भीड़ भाड़, वही गाली गलौज, वही pollution. It's like I'm home again. अब इसको आप क्या उठाओगे? Is he talking in positive or negative sense? You're wondering now. ठीक है, इसमें ambiguity है. Look at this. I'm just reading for all your benefit, okay? It says, when I am in foreign parts, as I am while this is being written, I often feel a pang of homesickness. What do I miss most about India? Well, my home, of course, which over the years has become as comfortable with Bunny and me as we are with. Bunny is his wife. Her article में he will mention his wife in some way or the other. Says home is where he belongs. He says, I miss most, if not all, of the many varied tastes and sights and sounds and smells of the country. I miss my friends and the local kirana wala. ये Hindi word है. Like a local kirana wala, and the young chap at the vegetable mandi who helpfully picks up freshest fruits and veggies for us. And one of the things I miss about India is that it's ever changing and never changingness. ये तो आप उठा सकते हो यार अपने essays के लिए. What he loves is India's ever changing, never changingness. It's like a flowing river, the water of which carried along by the current is never the same from moment to moment. Yet the river remains the same river, always changing yet unchanged. I can by heart this and use in my essays. ये तो पूरा आपके चिपका देना है ऐसे में. What you love about India, society, और इसको तो कहीं भी डाल दो आप. Okay, it says, when I miss this aspect of India, this continuum, I look at Times of India headlines on my cell phone to reassure myself. It says, when I'm missing India, तो मैं phone में मैं news देख लेता हूँ. And it says, and in my temporary absence, the country isn't sneakingly doing something behind my back, so to speak, and which will cause me no end of surprise upon my return to it. It says कि ऐसा ना हो कि छुप छुप के country change हो जा रहा है, वापस आऊँ, I can't recognize it. I'm reading news and what he sees is, to my relief, India is conducting its business as usual. There is still an opposition and it's doing what it's meant to do, which is to oppose whatever it is the government of the day is doing or not doing. And the case may be in calling it arbitrary, high-handedness and generally oppositionable. India, opposition always is opposing, nothing else. For its part, the government is doing what it is meant to do, which is to be anti-opposition, and calls it irresponsible, unruly, clueless, disunited, and a hindrance to progress, and generally is a nuisance. दोनों अपना अपना रोल वही निभा रहे हैं. Okay, it's very assuring कि अच्छा इंडिया में चल रहा है. Though the latest IPL season is over, cricket in its many forms and variations continue to remain the second most popular spectator sport in the country, after the ding-dong battles the realm of political arena. इंडिया में क्रिकेट कभी चेंज नहीं होता. Indeed, there's a growing feeling that cricket and politics conducted by other means is cricket is politics conducted by other means. Very powerful sentence. कि हमको लग रहा है हम खेल रहे हैं, but actually politics ही चल रहा है वो वाला. Or perhaps politics is crickets conducted by other means. Yet another multi-crore scam. He says ये भी constant है. Yet another multi-crore scam will come to light. Yet another film, book, any other artifact will create a rumpus between those who want it banned and those who want to ban those who want to ban it. The more India changes, the more it remains the same eternally. I can pick up paragraphs from here, and that's my introduction and conclusion for that matter. So ये एक style of writing है. I'm not saying copy the style, but आप अपने आप को expose करोगे ना, you'll know what to write about. Invariably, आपका essay का India dimension होगा. Invariably, you'll have something around the confusions that we face, the challenge that we face. और ये articles capture that beautifully. So something of India never changes. ये मेरा theme बन के एक writer ही हो जाएगा. Fine, all of you? Anyways, that's a different part. I'll come back afterwards on what to read. The problem is that most of you are writing the mains in next 2 months. You cannot do much dramatically different apart from knowing the tools, how to think on a topic. And that's what my focus is as of now. You asked me, can you write the Hindi thing? Yes, you can. But then accordingly, quick translation and move on. Okay, let's move on now, okay? So one topic, so my idea is through the topics I'll teach this technique to you. Is it okay, all of you here? So we have done 2 topics last time, 3rd one today. Let's take a 4th one. Again, last year's topic, forests are the best case studies for economic excellence. Many people got this wrong. They wrote on the lines of how forest management is important for economic growth. This topic hai hi nahi. Forests are the best case studies for economic excellence. So same idea. First we will rephrase it, then do all of this and way forward. Now before you rephrase it, पहले आपको topic समझना पड़ेगा. The topic is saying that if you want to become economically developed, you want to have that economic efficiency, you want to have returns on. So what does this word economic excellence mean? Basically, more returns on investments. Economic excellence is your growth. Economic excellence is more profits. Economic excellence is economic efficiency. ये तो है आपका. Okay, and you want to scale up things, right? It's about economic dominance. Like it's about economic reforms. जो भी चाहिए आपको. All the good things you want to do. It says that if you want to achieve this, you must study forests. The way the forests operate, if you understand that, you can apply that in your economic systems. You can apply that in economic policies and get the best returns. The forests, the way the trees, the plants, the land, the water, the wildlife, how they live, how they interact, how they're part of some system or ecosystem. अगर आप वो समझ लेते हैं, the principles of that can be used for economic growth also. So the answers to your economic problems lies in studying forests, okay, in detail. That is your topic's का meaning. तो अब सर ये टॉपिक हम कैसे समझेंगे, इसका आंसर मेरे पास नहीं है. It only comes by if you read these topics बार बार आप पढ़ेंगे. Most of us are used to straight type of readings. Okay, if I ask you write a note on forest ecosystems, आप लिख डालोगे आप. Write a note on importance of Indian forests, आप वो भी लिख डालोगे आप. How can we have economic reforms, आप वो भी लिख डालोगे. But this topic is about linking the two concepts together. So if I'm rephrasing it, I will not use this word, I will not use these words. So I will rephrase it that if we want more efficient, productive systems and also want to ensure activities, financial policies, economic reforms with better returns and with better outcomes, we should study how natural ecosystems and natural vegetative communities work and operate together as complex entity. I have not used the word forest. मैंने क्या use किया word? Ecosystem use कर दिया, vegetation use कर दिया, plant communities use कर दिया. How they work, okay, will tell us how economic system must work. Is it okay, all of you here? An example of rephrasing. तो rephrase एक technique ये है that whatever keywords you have, इस topic का keywords क्या है? These two are the keywords. For the two keywords, try developing alternate words. Okay, economic excellence के क्या क्या alternate words हैं? What are the alternate words for the word forest? Jungle में भी, plant communities, vegetation communities, ecosystems, वैसे कुछ use करो. Trees and wildlife ecosystems, वो कह दो आप. Something जो ये word repeat ना करे. This is the first step. Rephrase the topic. The next one. Next is I said, give me reasons. Why should forests become the case studies for economic excellence? Why? Because forests में, the forests are very efficient in material flow. Nothing in a forest is useless. In forests, there are natural controls that balances. In the forests, there is a harmony within the diversity. In a forest, there is a continuous birth and death. In natural, something must die, something must live. Like in forests, in every relationship is useful and nothing is greed, nothing is wasteful. A tiger will not kill for fun. The water will not flow, okay, without a reason. Okay, so nothing is useless. In forest, everything is useful. Every organism, nothing is greed, nobody wants excess. Nothing is wasteful. In the forests, everything gets recycled. In the forests, every component has some role to perform. 7, 8, 6 ऐसे सेंटेंस बना लो sentences. Forests are examples of efficient natural flow systems. Gases can flow, water can flow, the nitrogen cycle hai, oxygen cycle hai. Talk in that sense. In the forest, nothing is useless. Forest has controls. I think you know about the keystone species in forests. You know, foundations, they use those words now. As a पूछ रहा forest, use the language of ecosystems. So in forest, you have got keystone species. In the forest, there are a foundation species. Achha, ek aur very important. Forests are the product of years of evolution. The economic systems में भी हमें बहुत लंबा टाइम का resilience चाहिए. The forest adaptations to fire, forest adaptations to floods and droughts, forest adaptations to climate cycles, to season cycles, deciduous forests, evergreen forests. ये सब adaptation है, correct? Adaptations हैं, adjustments हैं, correct? Very nice. Okay, so at that point also, the forest, nothing is useless. A forest has balance. A forest has harmony with diversity. बहुत important है. Because in diversity, what we have is, we have a diversification of risks. अपने GS में, you recall the importance of biodiversity. वो सारा यहाँ लिख देना है आपको. Okay, in biodiversity we have the risk का distribution. The risk can get dispersed. That's why we had food webs and not food chains. Okay, I'm assuming you know all of that. There is the ecological succession, slow, gradual, okay, adaptations towards a robust community. Correct, very nice. Forests may, there's continuous death and birth. Forests are not constant, remember that. They keep on changing, they keep on evolving. In economies, we talk of a concept called as creative destruction. In terms of आपने ये होता है forest में. That something must die if it is no longer required. Okay, the old life forms will die if not required. Okay, and new things will again come up. And in forests, the relationships में कोई greed नहीं होता. Nothing is wanton. Nothing is wanton greed. Nothing is useless. Okay, nothing is frivolous. सबका अपना अपना काम है. Is it okay, all of you? In forests, everything has a sense of self-regulation and self-correction. अब इसमें से आप identify करो what you think are the first 1 or 2 points जो आप बना के रखोगे for the first box, what you will keep for the advantage impact box, what you will keep for the counter consequences if not done. अगर आप इसमें 3 कर देते हो, the work is done. Each point, when I'm elaborating, each of these point is worth at least 2 paragraphs. समझा के लिखने के लिए. So imagine 2 points. You easily have 1 to 2 page with you. The reasons page. Okay, it's done, all of you here. So now come towards the deep insight. Forests produce resources selflessly. But it says my insight is that for sustainability of anything, we can mimic the nature. This would have been my insight also. Whenever you have a problem you are facing, whenever you have a question or ambiguity you face, the answer is the nature. Mimic the nature, okay, you will have sustainability. Very nice. That's the insight that you have. And write about that in few lines. The nature is a repository of the best practices. The nature is the repository of, it's the bank of the best practices. Because nature is not the work of overnight efforts. Nature is the consequence of millions of years of adjustments, adaptations. देखो यार, essays में ना कुछ right wrong नहीं होता है. Remember that. It's all about your thinking, your depth. I am only forcing you कि मुझे कुछ सोच के बताओ कि ये टॉपिक से आपको क्या ज्ञान मिला. ठीक है? What is your learning in terms of deep understanding? कि अगर आपको इकोनॉमिक एक्सेलेंस चाहिए, फॉरेस्ट इज द बेस्ट वे टू अचीव द वे द फर्स्ट ऑपरेट्स. सबको क्या ज्ञान मिला? तो ज्ञान ये मिला, like somebody said this, okay, that any problems we have, any development we want, all the good practices are in the forests. If you understand forests, okay, our problems are solved. Man should not be inert and rigid, and be open to learn and adapt from anywhere and everywhere. Accept it. Okay. I mean, I remember that story था हिंदी में था, in school के time में था, how nature is your best teacher. आपको कुछ भी सीखना है, the answers are in the nature. Like guys, आप क्या सोचेंगे, I can't teach that to you. my agenda is, I've given you a thought-provoking box. What happens is when you get a topic, most of us do not know what to think. So my canvas is a tool to start thinking. That's all. अब आप क्या सोच के लिखोगे, that is a product of your years of study and understanding. तो 10 क्लास में मैं आपको बस कैनवस दे सकता हूं, आप इसको करो रिफाइन. एंड रिमेंबर वन थिंग, इसमें कुछ राइट रॉन्ग नहीं होता. व्हाट इज योर डीप इनसाइट is somebody else's some other insight. That's why every essay is going to be unique. How do you write an impressive essay? Impressive essay comes from writing something unique and different that you believe in and you can develop. These are points to force you to bring your uniqueness. Okay, your essay has to be unique in that sense. Okay, I'm done with this one. Now come to the third box. What is the counterintuitive idea now? What is the more popular thinking? Popular thinking is forests compromise our economic growth, right? That nature is wild, that we have to tame it. That human mind is the most sophisticated creation. और nature में सब untamed है. Nature is resource but not well managed. और हम लोग तो forest को बार बार खत्म कर रहे हैं. So our counterintuitive learning for this topic is that we have seen forests more as symbolic of wildness, symbolic of wilderness, symbolic of chaos, the opposite point. Some of us have seen, okay, forests as symbolic of ruthlessness. Okay, the weak can't survive, the strong will survive. The law of the wild बोलते हैं हम लोग. So insights क्या है and counter idea क्या है? Counter idea, we have been taught like this. We have lived this truth. We believe in this. However, the reality is something different. You can, Siddharth, but don't overdo it. Say, don't use too much concepts from your optional. एका ठीक है. Hobbes and Socrates and Archimedes. Okay, ठीक है. But don't make it like a theory from political science or from anthropology or from geography. Don't do that. Pick up wisdom and you're on. So fine. So that's one. Now I'm done with the insight, the counterintuitive, the positive, the negatives. Now tell me one event or one instance where, okay, this is true. कुछ जानते हो नहीं जानते हो? अभी कुछ दिन पहले एक आर्टिकल आया था, न्यूज आया था. A plane crashed in Colombia. The mother died. The pilots died, but 4 children, I think, survived. And the children were indigenous population. They knew how to survive in the wild. I don't know if you have read it or not. Amazon forest में ऐसे, I think Colombia में था. Colombia या Ecuador. Colombia में था. It was big news. How the indigenous populations, because they know the ways of the forest, they are more robust. They are more resilient. तो उसमें मैंने लिख देना है, पूरा 2 पेज लिख देना है. Or talk about simply, okay, how we have dismissed forests, okay, as useless. We are cutting forest, Amazon degradation. Brazil accounts for more than 40% of forest loss every year. We are losing, it says, size of some football field of forest every 5 seconds. कल परसों again news में आया था ये वाला. So take up one example of deforestation and how we are misusing the forest. The fact is, the forest has the wisdom to teach us. That's one way of writing down. In fact, again, I've read something, I'm sharing with you guys, about economic systems and companies के बारे में लिखा जाता है that why some old legacy companies are difficult to replicate. See what Tatas have done 200 साल में, okay, or what companies like BMW or Mercedes have done in last 100 years. What companies with great work ethics that they're known for. You can't replicate that overnight. Think of Byju's क्या हुआ है. Byju big, but it has not replicated some of the values of great companies. Reason है कि in long years time, the companies develop systems which are more robust. It's like they have grown arms and roots. And that's why they're more robust. I can take up the example of Avatar movie. That life tree जो है concept है, the roots, connections. I was preserving it that for my movie wala reference. But it's up to you. I can bring it here also for that matter. So one example around which you can develop an essay, one very strong example around which your essay can have discussions. Okay, and I don't know if you have heard about this or not. This whole concept of your non-tillage farms, the concept of farm forests. आप देख सकते हैं ecology में है farm forest. Farm forest is you are growing a farm like a forest. Okay, you don't have rows and harvesting and seeds. It's like a jungle. All types of trees are there, and it's considered to be a sustainable way of living. Okay, at local scales. Farm forests. You don't cultivate, you don't harvest like a regular farm. ठीक है? वो आपका सीरियल नहीं है, नेशनल ज्योग्राफिक में भी है. मैन अगेंस्ट वाइल्ड, मैन वर्सेस वाइल्ड सुना है आपने? Go on. You once you know that you're on. Our Modi ji also was out there. Man versus the very efficient systems. Survival instincts to live in the forest. Okay, I'm done with this one. Indian relevance. Look, what does a forest represent? Diversity. Interdependence. Represents the cyclic nature of things. Forest is diversity. Forest is interdependence. Forest is the cyclical nature of all functioning. Now, India mein, why is Indian society considered to be very resilient, robust? Because of its diversity. Because of the time for which we have existed. I remember one of the history teachers I had met and talked. India mein jo bhi problems aa jaye, because of India's long history, 4,000, 5,000 saal ka history hai, and a history of so many people, India in nature is robust, is resilient. There will be changes, but India will bounce back. There will be changes, India will fight back. So India can come to edge of a collapse because of diversity, because of old history, because of its complexities. India is robust and resilient. India is like a forest. Is it okay, all of you here? So India's relevance, the importance of India's cultural diversity, India's ethnic diversity, the importance of India's long history of living, that makes us robust. And that's one reason, because of this, Indians do well also elsewhere. Indians are very adaptable. Okay, आप कहीं भी जाओ, Indians don't fight. Okay, Indians are known to manage. They'll adapt, they'll innovate. They're very enterprising by nature. Indians are known to fight back against odds slowly, gradually. India starts as workers, they rise up the rung. इसमें मैंने एक पूरा ऐसे लिख डालना है. The nature of Indian migrants, Indian diaspora. Okay, I mean, look at, you are in the best of the countries के political systems में. We are the prime ministers, we are the leaders, we are the CEOs. Indian relevance, diversity, adaptations. बनेगा ऐसे आपका यहाँ पर. What value do you learn? Value is diversity. The value is time and patience. The value is harmony, way forward. Now that I accept the fact that forests are the case studies for economic resilience, economic growth, economic achievements. So what do we teach? We teach the virtues of harmonious living in schools and colleges. We teach and develop societies around thought leaders who promote the idea of diversity. We teach the fact that we must be ready to adapt, means give up things which are wasteful and acquire traits which are the more modern ones. We keep innovating like a forest does. We do this in our schools. We do this in our economic systems also. We keep reforming. We keep changing. We do this in governance also. So I could end in saying, just like forests mein, nothing is permanent. Similarly, development mein, nothing is permanent. Economic growth mein, nothing is permanent. The way forward is respect the diversity. Fine, all of you? This essay is not about importance of forests. The essay is about what can you learn from how a forest operates, which you can use in your economic systems and development models. Is basically the debate going on right now, online student, is why this essay is a philosophical essay. Why is it not a topical essay? When I say topical essay, का मतलब क्या है? It's around some issue called deforestation, in an issue called as economic development. तब ये बनेगा topical. But आप इस essay में wisdom use कर रहे हो, not the issue. आप issue को as an example use कर रहे हो. The wisdom is, let's be diverse. The example is, diversify agriculture. The wisdom is, the supply chains have to be efficient systems. The example will be, warehousing, storage, transportation must be efficient system. The issues को example उठा रहे हो, but है wisdom वाला. ठीक है? जिस essay में philosophical wisdom आ जाएगा, it now becomes abstract. The mistake students did was exactly this one. They wrote the essay on importance of forest. आपको उधर नहीं जाना है. In our own finances, हमारे अपने investments में, हमारे अपने savings में, हमारे अपने expenditure में, I can use principles of forests. How we save, how we invest, long-term investments, not short-term greed savings नहीं चाहिए हमें. Like if I want economic excellence at my family level, I must go by the forests. Diversified tools of investments. थोड़ा gold, थोड़ा property, okay, maybe थोड़ा सा fixed deposits, mutual funds, equity. If you understand these words, you have a range of investments. Okay. The cyclicity, you have to keep on doing this repeatedly, like a rhythm. The culture of small investments, SIP principle जो है आपका. I can use for the world at large, economic reforms, scams, or from this one asset example में दिया आपको अवतार उठा लो example. A good example of forest, nature and living. Fine all of you? Okay, fine.